Hello, everyone. Thank you for listening and watching. My name is Nefertiti, and you can find my information in the description box below. In this video, I'm going to discuss the difference between intuition and discernment. Happy Self-Love Sunday. I hope these messages are helpful for you. Now, there are some similarities between intuition and discernment. Both can be strengthened through prayer and meditation. Both intuition and discernment are based on how you feel, your emotional body, right? Your intuition will tell you when something is off. Your discernment will reveal to you what might be off. So that's the difference. Your intuition is kind of what lets you know that something is going on, and your discernment is actually what is going on or what you interpret to be going on, and you make your decision based on that. Both intuition and discernment require practice, but in different ways. Intuition is defined as the ability to understand something immediately without conscious reasoning. So, let's say, for example, you grab a piece of fruit. Your intuition might tell you that there's something wrong with it, right? Maybe it looks good on the outside, it might smell okay, but for whatever reason, you're like, nah, I'm not going to eat this, right? That's your intuition. Your discernment says you pick up the fruit and you notice there's a big rotting, molding spot on it. So you're like, okay, I'm definitely not going to eat this because I see the moldy spot. So that's discernment, right? It's more practical. It's more 3D, I guess. Your intuition is defined as the ability to understand something immediately without conscious reasoning. Let me first say that you should always use your intuition first, above discernment. So develop it. Some easy ways to develop your intuition: again, meditation, connecting to your emotional body, and using crystals. There's lots of ways to strengthen and work with your intuition, but these are ways that are very easily accessed by people. The more you use your intuition, the stronger it gets. It's that still small voice, and it's clear and usually straight to the point. It's not going to be like some long paragraph unless you're channeling. But if it's something that you're just receiving intuitively, it's generally speaking going to be a short phrase or something like that. Your intuition is not always rational either, whereas discernment is usually rational. Intuition is about trust, right? When you don't trust it, something goes wrong. Intuition says doubt equals don't. Now your discernment is more practical. And discernment is defined as the ability to judge well. So it's based on your perceptions and your limitations to some extent. Again, going back to that fruit, you're not going to eat it because you can see that it's rotten. You don't need your intuition for that. And discernment is used a lot in the Bible, right? Discerning God's voice. I think there's over 40 something scriptures that use the word discernment. It is based on common sense. As we know, common sense is not so common. That's actually a superpower, in my opinion. Discernment is based on logic and experience, too. It's also about self-preservation rather than expansion, which is the purpose of intuition, right? Intuition is expansive. It helps you to see things from a higher, broader perspective, whereas intuition is dealing with what's in your immediate environment, what's immediately in your energy, and how you're going to navigate that, what choices you'll make. Some say discernment is a gift. I like to think of discernment as a skill, something that you can learn and something that you can develop and practice. So let's talk about 3 ways that you can use your discernment, and it's based on 3 quotes, actually. The first quote is, "Circumstances do not make the man, they reveal him." This is a quote by James Allen. We saw this a lot during the pandemic, right? Your circumstances reveal you. A lot of people were in dire financial straits, so we're okay. So, everything that happened really showed people where they were. Some people were in complete denial. Maybe some people didn't know exactly how extreme their situation could get, because something like this has never happened before. And we are always told to be prepared, to save money, to do all these things. But some people don't do that. They just don't. And they suffered because of that. So your circumstances reveal you. Now that people are on the other side of that, we had gotten accustomed to the lockdown, and now we're starting to open back up. People are going to make better decisions going forward, and this is based on discernment. They're also going to be more careful with their boundaries and who they allow into their life, what they allow into their life. The second quote comes from Maya Angelou. When people show you who they are, believe them. Right? People talk a good game. A lot of pretenders exist in the 3D reality. But what you see is actually who they are. How they behave is who they have chosen to be, especially if they're engaging in negative behavior that's repetitive. This is also true for positive behavior and positive actions, right? Believe people when they show you who they are. That's one good way to use your discernment. It's not about what they tell you all the time, right? And the last quote is from Freud. People will do anything, no matter how absurd, in order to avoid facing their own soul. Again, goes back to watching how people behave, the crazy things people do to avoid their inevitable awakening, ascension, the spiritual journey, the things people do to avoid the twin flame journey, the things people do to avoid the dark night of the soul. These are the only ways for you to discover who you are, is to be able to face your own darkness, right? To look at the choices that you've made where you perhaps didn't use your discernment and you suffered some consequences because of that. So it's all about learning and growth, right? So face whatever your soul is calling you to face, because chances are whatever is there, whatever shadow is there, it's something that you've suppressed for a long time, and it is going to affect your ability to discern spirits, to discern situations and people, because it's a limitation, it's a fear, it's something that's holding you back. So do some soul searching. Don't be afraid of the dark night of the soul. Don't be afraid to go through changes and shifts. It's a part of life. It doesn't feel good all the time. It's not always what we want to go through. It's not always ideal, but it's necessary. So I hope this was helpful for you. Thank you so much for listening and watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I look forward to speaking to you again really soon. Have a wonderful Self-Love Sunday. Namaste.